Ahum, and welcome to Spiritual Development bonus classes. Today, we're going to talk about past lives and how to come to help your client or yourself come to the realization softly and slowly as to what their past lives uh, could have been. Now, we all know that the possibilities of a past life is endless, and the possibilities that um, people that are in front of you, your client, could have had just one past life, or this could have been, or this could be their practically their first life that they have gotten here right now. Um, I get a lot of people asking me, well, what was I in my past life? Do I need a past life regression? How do I do that? There's many ways, from using a pendulum to using meditation to using meditative hypnosis or psychic hypnosis. And I'll explain psychic hypnosis to you in another video, which is basically the body goes into a completely safe and um, tranquil state, and we invoke then, or we bring in the spirit. This takes hours to do, and you have to be very careful, and you have to be very intuitive and listen to your intuition and to the person's uh, guides and angels and guardian angels, to be precise. So you know, this is not something that you can do in 20 minutes. You can give them a mini past life idea, or a little path. Give them like this is what the cards say, and this is not what you say. This is what the card says. Um, And okay, so what I'm trying to get to really before the phone rang is we can give people an idea of what it is that they are contending with as far as a past life regression or a past life tarot read. But you cannot, nor should you, guide them into believing something that your own psyche is building or constructing. This has to be your client's entire movement and self-discovery as to who they were and why certain things in this lifetime coincide, and why is it, especially why is it that they want to know what is going on beneath that that feeling. So when we get our tarot cards, it's going to be very easy. You're going to start your protective space. Now, your sacred space. When doing past life, I will tell you it is past life. However, you are still opening, okay? You're still opening, like, I don't want to call it a vortex because it isn't. You're opening this space. And it must be totally protected, not only for you, but for your client. So I start with prayer. I turn on my incense. I tell my client if it's going to be over video chat to do the same thing. I usually prepare them like a day or two ahead. Diet for me is a big thing. We're going back in time. Not only that person's past, because we have to travel all the way, but I need that person to be totally hydrated, totally not having to think, oh my God, I can't wait for this to finish because I'm starving. So there's certain steps that you want them to take, especially taking care of their sacred space. And you're going to give them these instructions because it is important, very important for you as it is for them, because by them taking care of their sacred space, they're taking care of you, and there's a great responsibility. And don't feel bad telling them, hey, listen, we're going to do a past life regression. I want to make sure that I am as safe as you are. So these are the steps you need to take. And by all means, if you have to open up a sacred space with them, make it part of your session. This is not a 15-minute session, guys. This is not a 15-minute session. This is not a half-hour session. This could be an hour to an hour and a half. I've done a reading for about 2 hours, almost 2 hours. So, you know, I suggest you practice first. Practice with yourself, and then practice with your friends and your family, and see how that goes. Now, again, I cannot reiterate enough the importance of you not leading the client into discovering something that is inside of you. You're going to know that you're going to know certain things, but you need to keep certain things inside until your client says, oh, yada yada yada. Then it's going to coincide with what you have. And telepathically you will connect with this person, because that's part of the process, where you actually sit down and you connect to your client. And that's super, super important, because when you connect, you have a little more say and a little more control over. If you see anything coming in that does not belong, you are already there, and you are going to be able to do what you need to do to control the situation. Now, you do not want, when you're doing a past life tarot read, you don't want any hypnosis to happen. While a lot of people do use it, I try not to. I am a big advocate about conscious awareness. Even when my bird is just going crazy, I think he wants to go out, so I'm going to take him out in a little bit. But conscious awareness throughout the entire process is key. Because this is where you'll be able to see if you need to guide your client and say, okay, we want to get out of there and want to move to another subject. If you see that there's just something that is just not right, and you'll need to be, and that person needs to be in conscious awareness if you start clearing. Now, I'm not saying that, any of these things are going to happen, and certainly not for everyone, but you don't know what your client, if you don't know your client, you don't know what your client has in their little black box, and you don't know what they have hidden that all of a sudden may want to poke their face out and, give you quite a stunning scare. And you can. So let's say, I usually send my psychic waiver and my ethics page on my ethical practices. I also send a contract, which it's basically the same thing, but letting them know what I'm charging, and how I expect payment at before the time of the visit. I also give them a list of things that they need to have, and both of us would be turning on the incense at the same time if we're doing the sacred space. And I give them that option. And I'd rather do the sacred space with them as part of the visit. because then I'm going to make sure that their sacred space is just as strong as mine. And when we both meet in the middle, there's nothing surprising from their end. It's very important to protect yourself. When you protect yourself, you're able to protect your client at any point. Now, your arsenal of tools is going to be different in other aspects than your client. You're going to have your crystals, you're going to have extra tools should you need to intercede in upcoming clearings and cleanings. And it could be that I have found that there are times where I've had to add some cord cutting and some healing to several aspects of their timeline, because they just require it, and you're going to know, because their guardian angel is going to come to you and they're going to say, hey, I think at this point you've seen that this person needs a little help with this. And then you're going to have as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to have my shaman drum, I'm going to have my shaman rattle, I'm going to have other tools that I use, my athame, all these beautiful things that I use in order to help them move forward, or in this case, backwards, to get to the place that they need to get to, so they can finally come to terms as to why they're having these headaches. Why can't the doctors find anything wrong? Why are they afraid of deep water? Why are they continuously self-sabotaging their lives? Why? It's a good question. Why? And most oftentimes they're going to find it with a past life reading. Now, once you've created your sacred space and they have created their sacred space, and again, do it with them so you are protected. You need to be protected at all times, because you're the one that's going to be doing most of the work to keep them safe until they do their self-discovery. Now, it may be that it's going to be more than once. More than one session for you to be able to clear everything away. But let's say someone's coming to you and they say, well, I want to know what I was in my past life. I always ask why. Why do you want to know? Why is it that you feel like you need to know who you are? And most oftentimes they're going to tell you, because I'm drawn to it. I want to know. I've been having these dreams. Now, this is where you stop them, because you don't want to know all this information, because then it's just going to guide you to, what it is that's going to happen. So the least amount of information they give you, the better it is for you to help them to self-discover. So let's just make believe that we're looking at this person, and it's a female, and it's a person that tells you, I'm having such a hard time at work. I want to know why it is that, what it is, or I'm having a hard time in my life. What is it that makes me this way? And then, you look at yourself and you say, okay, well then let's begin, and and here's where you use the cards in a quite different way. Let's say the Queen of Swords would be the card that would come out. Now everybody knows that a sword has to do with some kind of conflict, and they just told you, I'm having a little bit of a problem at work. And I just, I'm trying to find myself. I don't think I know what I'm doing. I don't think, someone told me that I may have had a past life, where, I was in conflict. Like, I'm always in conflict. My whole life is in conflict. And, you start bringing out these cards, and you start saying, okay, well, um, let's begin to see what it is that is happening, and then you start pulling cards. Now, I'm not reading anybody, so I'm just going through the cards so I can give you an idea of what we're talking about. Now, everybody knows I don't do reverse cards. That is a mechanical system that I know I create when I shuffle, if I'm not careful. And knowing that, I know that I am the one creating the reversals. No matter what anybody tells me, I believe that is the issue, and that's why I don't do the reverse cards. I really don't believe in them. Okay, so I'm going to tell them, well, you know, you've got the Queen of Swords, and if you're looking at the Queen of Swords, and the reason why I picked the Queen of Swords is because, again, the person said, well, I'm having such a hard time. I was told that I was a knight, or I was told that I was a warrior in my whole life. Well, you know, in one of my past lives, I can say, well, for certain, there is the Queen of Swords. If you look at the Queen of Swords, the Queen of Swords is usually a person, and here, let me bring the video camera, I mean the screen for the video camera here in front. The Queen of Swords is usually a seeker of ultimate truth. It is a person that tells people how it is. There's no pussyfooting around. There's no dilly-dallying. There's no, I'm going to tell you what you feel that you need to hear. When you're the Queen of Swords, because that is the person that you are, and because it is the way you live, truth is what brings you your peace. Not everybody else wants to hear the truth, so there's going to be conflict. So by looking at the card, yeah, it's a Queen of Swords. A queen is usually lives by truth. This particular card itself is someone that usually makes it to the tippy top of a profession. So maybe a manager, an administrator, a physician, maybe even a lawyer, someone that gets to, or a judge that gets the job done. And even though they get the job done, they get it totally done with truth and honesty and integrity. Not everybody likes that. So yeah, that's why that is manifesting in her work space right now. But this Queen of Swords is also the kind of person that likes to hang around a certain type of person. Royalty, right? Because those are the people supposedly that share in the like-mindedness of this queen. So I would be comfortable in saying, you know, for now, I'm getting the Queen of Swords. I'm getting someone that is very truthful, someone that is very, has a lot of integrity, someone that can lead, someone that always makes sure that she gets to the top. So perhaps royalty at this point is what I'm looking at for your path or your past life. So now let's go in a little deeper. Now we're going to get to the Three of Cups, and then I'll show you how all that comes together. So here comes the Three of Cups, and the Three of Cups is more for like a girl's night out, right? Camaraderie. It's more like a person that celebrates, a person that is actually believes in grounding trust. So, you know, the fact that there is the Queen of Swords, which could be from that royalty side of your past life. Then you have this camaraderie card that comes in. Now, what you're going to tell the person is, you know, perhaps, you know, royalty is something for you to think about, and let's see how far back, and if you can connect, because you want the client to connect. Let's see if you can connect to some type of royalty in your past life. Because, and again, queens, they lead a very lonely life, very secluded life. But yet you have the camaraderie card that comes out, which means this could very well be royalty within a group, with a group of women, or like like a group of women that she was associated with, that she's associated with. So perhaps it's the mother, the daughters, maybe there were sisters that are part of a family that she is part of. So we've been able to tell this person, okay, so you may have had a family, and then let's see how that person travels back in time and starts building. The client needs to be the one building and remembering their life story. You're only going to give them the cards and explain what the cards mean. And then, you know, they'll be able to come up with, they're going to put everything together, and then they're going to come up with their realization. But you can't be the one to fill in the gaps. They are. Okay? Now, the next card that's going to come out would be the King of Pentacles. Now, you talked about the camaraderie of women in the life of this queen or royalty. And here comes the King of Pentacles that comes out. This could be a business owner, a self-made man. It could be the dad. It could be the husband of in this person's past life. Notice that the queen, with the camaraderie and the happiness in her kingdom, also has a King of Pentacles that comes out, that he likes good food as much as entertainment. So the Three of Cups shows you like happiness, celebrations, okay? So maybe this queen was part of a celebration, a celebratory kingdom, or a happy kingdom, which those existed. We just keep hearing about the bad stuff that happened, right? But those existed. This King of Pentacles was a happy man, a hardworking man that enjoyed the fruits of his labor. and again, this could be because if you look at the King of Pentacles and you remember the King of Pentacles, yes, it is a man. Yes, it could be a husband, but it could also be a father to the Queen. So you need to think, because the King of Pentacles usually adores or has a special affinity with grandchildren, but not so much their children, their own children, especially when they're adult, whiny children. He likes things done his way. So you need and this is where you cannot be the one to fill in the gaps. Your client is going to say, yes, I was the queen. Yes, I had a beautiful court. Yes, my father. That was my father. Because it's going to take her to a place where she's going to see the parallel in her past life to this one person in her current life that is going to be manifesting in the card. And this is where she will be able to say, yes, that is my father, and he's here with me now, and this is exactly how he is. Or, no, this is my husband, and this is exactly who he is. But again, you can't be the one to fill in the gaps. And that's important. That is as far as you can go. You can give them the cards, give them the clues, with the cards, explain what the cards are, and then they are the ones that are going to put all this together, and they are going to build based on their intuition, based on their openness, based on the help that they're going to be receiving from their guides and their past life. You're going to be the one giving them that. But they're the ones that are going to fill in the gaps and bring up that, perhaps even names, but they're going to be able to bring up that that life they had. And what's even more important is that you do need to explain to them that it doesn't only have to be on this earth. It could be anywhere in the galaxy that they had that type of life. So it is not only on this earth that we're talking about, guys. So you need to be open, and you need to open them up to the possibilities that this could be from anywhere in their lifetime, and anywhere in this universe. Doesn't necessarily only mean here on this earth. When you're done and this person feels comfortable, you're going to give them some homework where they can journal the experience, and then that they can put together perhaps a dream sequence journal, and a dream participation journal where they actually become a participant inside their own dream, remembering all these past events. And that helps a lot, because through this reading, you're going to open up a whole new world for them. And most often than not, it's going to be a beautiful world. For those lives that were not that mentionable, what I usually suggest is that then healing becomes part of the actual past life reading. So this is where, at some point, if they tell you, like I remember how I died in the witch trials. I remember my mom, I remember my house, I remember running from it, I remember hiding as a kid. It was a hard realization, a hard memory to bring back, but I knew, because I did it when I was already a Reiki therapist, and I remember that I healed that, and I filled in that void, that fright, that sadness with love and understanding, so that we were understanding that we are where we are today because of things that happened back then. And it came to a point where, and it comes to a point where you accept, and then you make amends, and you fix and you heal that past life sequence, and then you put it away because you no longer need to worry about it. Now you understand, you saw it. I came, I saw, and I gave it love. And that is the way that I deal with it. Not everybody does. Some people need a little help, right? Well, that's what we're here to do, to give them a little help. All right. I hope this was not too long and that I was able to give you the information that you need. It is something that you can start with just 3 cards and then go a little more in depth. I usually, with 3 cards, I get exactly what I need. And I use the regular tarot, not an angel tarot card. I use the regular tarot because you can pinpoint specific people in your reading. I want you to be able to close your circle and your sacred space with your client. And I want you to always protect them with a seal, a golden seal, universal golden seal of healing, so that as they continue moving forward and putting the pieces together, that they can do it logically and that they can do it with love. It's important for you to leave them with that, because first of all, they're going to come back. But and I cannot stress enough for you to journal the experience and the findings of your reading with all your clients, because there's nothing worse than when I disconnect with a client. I really don't remember much afterwards. It's like a moment of complete just self-awareness for that person, and the rest of time stops. But you ask me 2-3 weeks later, oh yeah, I was the one with such and such and such, and I'm like, because at that time I was psychically aware but not emotionally or physically aware. And this is what I talk about, psychic meditations, and we'll talk about that soon. So I hope that this actually gave you an insight on how you can do that for people. It's certainly something well worth to play with and practice among the group members here. I would definitely try to look at the tarot cards themselves. Use the picture of the tarot cards, whichever tarot cards you're using, and look at the possibilities and practice with each other in the group, so that you can practice ethics. I want you to practice ethics. I want you to practice doing the past life, but I want you to practice not filling in gaps for your client. So let's play, and then we're going to take it to the main group, and we're going to offer it to the main group. All right? All right. Well, Ahum, off to work. I'll see you on Friday. Let me see here. Friday, actually, what day are we in? Today is Monday. Monday the 25th. Wow. Monday the 25th. Well, this Friday, the 29th, we are going to, from 7 to 8, we're going to have Spiritual Development 1, come together. And 8 to 9, we're going to have spiritual development 2. So 7 is spiritual development 1. And then at 8 is spiritual development 2. Now, for spiritual development 2, you can stay, because you've already taken the classes, that course. You can stay. You can be in the spiritual development 1 course, since I'm always giving more and more information and adding things to the spiritual development 1 course as we move on. But spiritual development 1 should not be part of spiritual development 2. As with spiritual development 2, we're already going to be starting one of our certifications. All right? Okay, so I think we're ready to go. I will see you all this Friday, 7 to 8 EST PM Eastern Standard is going to be Spiritual Development 1. And then Spiritual Development 2 will start at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. And I will place the Zoom invitation on each one of the classrooms. Okay? All right. So we are going to be ready for our really, really very first meeting. And then I'll let you guys know as we approach on Friday mornings, Friday afternoon, I'll let you know. You need candles. You do need candles. White is preferred. But if you have a red candle, that's fine. We're going to start with our root chakra, and we're going to fire our root chakras. And again, the spiritual cleansing and the chakra clearings and auric push and the soul reading can be done through the entire course. So it doesn't have to be like now. We can do it as we move along. Okay? All right. So I shall see you guys on Friday. Have a great one.